Meet Julie. Julie is a school teacher who sometimes feels really frustrated and even wants to scream because she's trying to figure out the best way to use social media in her classroom. If this sounds like you, then you are in luck. What we're going to do in this presentation is we're going to take you through 3 really popular types of social media that students love to use, how they can be applied to your classroom, and how to use them. The 3 types of social media that we're going to look at are Twitter, Google Hangout, and Instagram. First of all, we're going to look at the relative advantages of each of these. For Twitter, the relative advantage is that it allows students to connect with the world around them in a simple and efficient manner. For Google Hangouts, the relative advantage is that it allows students to meet together in groups and collaborate effortlessly, and all of that is for free. And finally, we're going to look at Instagram. And the relative advantage of using Instagram in your classroom is not only that it allows students to be social, very much like Twitter, but it also captures the attention of all of those visual learners that you have in your classroom, and we all know that most of our students are those visual learners. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at Twitter. Just to give you an example of Twitter, Twitter is a free social networking microblogging service that allows registered members to broadcast short posts called tweets. Twitter members can broadcast tweets and follow other users' tweets by using multiple platforms and devices. Tweets and replies to tweets can be sent by cell phone, text message, desktop clients, or by posting on the twitter.com website. And don't worry, if you don't have a Twitter, Google Hangout, or an Instagram account, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to post links to getting started pages that will walk you through step by step how to set yourself up in each of these different platforms. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hear from a teacher who uses Twitter in her classroom right now today and some of the ways she's using it.
Twitter has really literally opened up the world to my students, and the great thing about Twitter is it doesn't matter what time zone you're in or what country you're in, it is available to almost everybody all over the world.
So tell me a little bit about how your students are using it.
All right, we use Twitter for a variety of different reasons. One of the ways we used Twitter was I had read my class a story, and my kids were right away really, they wanted to contact the author, and I said, well, we can tell the author we liked the story. So we tweeted the author, and we said we liked her. She got in contact with me and actually sent all my kids bookmarks and bracelets and stickers, and my kids were just amazed that she did that. So right away they're like, we have to thank her. But instead of the tweet coming from me, we used our class Twitter account, and everyone in my class actually individually through the same account tweeted her a thank you and a little question about her book or a comment about her book. She got all those tweets, and individually she responded one at a time to each one of them. So my kids were pretty thrilled that here their voice was not only being heard by me, but it was being heard by the actual person that they wanted to hear, the author. Another thing that we did is when we were saying fairy tales, we created a hashtag. I think it was hashtag LRR13 for Little Red, LLRH13 for Little Red Riding Hood. And my kids were learning about voice, and so they actually wrote tweets as if they were characters from Little Red Riding Hood. So, for example, one person might have said, make sure you go straight to grandma's, and someone else might have tweeted in 140 characters or less, you don't look like my grandchild. And so it's pretty cool. Or you don't look like, because it was the love. So it was pretty cool. We also use Twitter a fair bit for math. We've created hashtags when we were doing 2D and 3D shapes. My kids would think of a shape, and they would give clues to other kids, and we would share out the hashtag, and other kids would try to guess what shape, three-dimensional shape we were talking about. What was interesting is we also connected through blogs, and so we had started the conversation on one of our class blogs when we were sharing about ways to make 10, and Mrs. Cassidy's class and Moose just saw it, and they said, oh, we want to do it too. And so we responded back to their comment on our blog, but we were worried that maybe she and her class wouldn't see it. So my students said, we need to tweet them because they'll see their tweets. So right away we tweeted them, and we said, we responded to your blog. And then we ended up actually having a conversation through Twitter and sharing. I mean, we've used it for so many things. We've done Discovery Education sessions where we watched their webinars, and we've tweeted back channel. We've created hashtags and back channel. So we use it for a variety of different ways. And I find that every time we find a way, there's always another way that we can try it. So
All right. So we've seen, so she was, Karen was talking about some of the ways that her and her classroom uses Twitter. So if you notice, what they're doing here is they are actually using, sorry about that, Google Hangouts in order to conduct that live interview with Karen. So what Google Hangouts is it's a free video chat service from Google that enables both one-on-one chats and group chats. If you notice during that video, there were 3 faces at the bottom. And whenever someone would speak, for example, the young lady, the brunette on the right, laughed, the video focused in on her. So it is different than Skype and FaceTime because it really focuses more on the face-to-face group interaction as opposed to the one-on-one video chats. And it utilizes, again, that sophisticated technology to seamlessly switch the focus to the person that is currently chatting. So some of the ways that you could use Google Hangout in your classroom, here's some really quick, just 7 ways. And again, I'm going to provide you information at the end here and it's going to elaborate, one of the links is going to elaborate on each one of these, but here's 7 quick ways you could use Google Hangouts in your classroom. 1 is to form a virtual book club. 2 is to participate in a mystery hangout. That's a lot of fun. So you would coordinate with another teacher and then the kids have to ask certain leading questions and find out where that other class is. 3, you could use it for student presentations. 4, students could work on projects together. So not only in the classroom, but think about them being able to work on projects with students in China. Okay, or students in India. So anything like that. Number 5, as we just saw with Karen, invite guest speakers. Number 6, go on a virtual field trip. And number 7, collaborate with your professional learning committee or your professional learning network. So those are just some quick ways. Again, I'll provide a link at the end that elaborates a little bit more on that. Then moving into our final social piece here, our final social network that we're investigating. The last one is going to be Instagram. So Instagram is an online photo sharing service which allows you to apply different types of photo filters to your pictures. And then while it is a rather basic service, Instagram simplicity has helped it gain widespread popularity. So it really takes those pictures, enhances them, and then it also allows you to include something like a tweet along the bottom of your Instagram photo. So some of the ways that we can use Instagram in our classroom, there's 10 ways here. These are the first 4. Number 1, we can showcase students' work. Number 2, we can feature a student of the week, that if we had a class Instagram account, we could say, you know what, you're the student of the week, and they have control of that Instagram for the week of our class Instagram. Number 3, we could capture field trip memories and share them. Number 4, we can imagine how a famous person in history would use Instagram. The next 4 ways are number 5, we would imagine what a favorite character would tweet. Number 6, we could share reading recommendations. 7, we could record steps in a science experiment. 8, we could go on an ABC scavenger hunt. 9, we could discover ideas for writing. And 10, we could document students' progress. So again, I will also share a link at the end underneath the Instagram portion that not only helps you get started with Instagram, but also elaborates on these 10 ideas. So here are those links that I've been mentioning for Twitter, Google Hangout, and Instagram. And also I'm going to post these just underneath this video on the web page. All right, and then here's a couple more links just for not really specifically ideas centering around Twitter, Google Hangouts, or Instagram, but just some broader ideas of how to bring social media into your classroom and really some classroom management techniques and the benefits of using social media in the classroom. So it looks like Julie is pretty happy, and I hope you are too. Thanks for taking the time to watch.